Venomous snakes are true monsters for most animals, as one bite is enough to dispatch a prey. Venom is modified saliva, and over millions of years of evolution, its chemical composition has become incredibly complex and multi-component. The method of venom delivery has also changed. It no longer freely flows in the snake's mouth, but is concentrated in special channels inside venomous fangs. The venom is supplied there from glands that produce the toxin at a relatively high cost. For a snake's body to produce venom, it has to expend a considerable amount of energy. So venomous snakes hunt and feed much more frequently than pythons and boas. But the primary weapon of snakes is worth it. There are several different types of toxins. For instance, cobras possess a neurotoxin that primarily affects the nervous system. This causes pain, convulsions, and uncontrolled salivation. But most importantly, such venom stops lung contractions. In essence, cobras and pythons deal with their victims using one method, but in different ways. The bushmaster snake has a complex venom, primarily hemotoxic. It poisons the blood and destroys the cardiovascular system. For most snakes, venom is injected with the help of large fangs located at the front of their jaws. Hence, the bite can be lightning fast, and the victim doesn't always feel it. Sometimes only the first symptoms of poisoning indicate that the animal was bitten. But by that time, it's usually too late. However, this rule has exceptions. For example, the venomous fangs of a boomslang snake are located deep inside the mouth, so it must not only grip the victim tightly, but also hold it in its grasp for quite a bit, making chewing movements. Interestingly enough, this limits the size of the boomslang's prey. They primarily hunt small animals then that they are able to hold. But the venom of this species is so potent that it could overcome even a lion. We are accustomed to thinking that humans are weak compared to mighty beasts with their claws, fangs, tusks, and sharp hooves. This isn't entirely true. For humans, considering weight and other physical characteristics, there is very good resistance to poisons. For instance, where a person has an hour's time to administer an antidote, a larger and stronger horse has only a few minutes before the poison finally overcomes the animal. And there are venomous snakes whose bites an adult and healthy human can endure even without an antidote, and survive after a short poisoning. But it's really not worth testing this. If bitten by a snake, one should seek medical attention as soon as possible. Moreover, even if a victim is lucky enough to survive, the toxin can lead to irreversible damage to muscle and nerve tissue, resulting in twisted and non-functional limbs, tissue necrosis around the bite site, and damage to internal organs. Moreover, the majority of venomous snakes hunt small animals like rodents. But the poison from a single bite may drop in an elephant or an entire herd of horses. Most venomous snakes conserve the venom and just simply bite during self-defense, or inject a very minimal amount of venom. However, not all species can regulate the quantity, so one should definitely be very wary of snakes. Such powerful toxins are necessary for snakes for self-defense, and to hunt rodents, a less effective weapon is also sufficient. Still, cobras feel themselves quite confident among tigers and lions and other aggressive territorial animals. However, the company where a snake can't feel comfortable is in the presence of a honey badger. This creature, with its cute face, comically large paws, and curious eyes, is known as a fearless predator. It attacks lions, fights leopards, and steals prey from hyenas. But the main highlight is its little-known superpower, which we will discuss now. You already know that humans have decent resistance to poisons, enough that in most cases, an antidote can be administered in time after a limb bite. Well, a honey badger's resistance is so remarkable that it doesn't need any antidote at all. If a honey badger spots a highly venomous snake, it simply goes to it and eats it. Nothing else interests the honey badger. The attack of this small, stocky gangster, which terrorizes half of Africa, looks so merciless that a venomous cobra, which just frightened you with its venom, evokes genuine sympathy, doesn't it? It tries to resist, but can do literally nothing. The honey badger advances without sophistication. While the mongoose prefers dodging every cobra strike and wearing down the opponent, the honey badger simply grabs the snake with its paws and bites its head. The predator's jaws are very strong, and its paws are suitable for digging burrows. Hence, the cobra can't escape such a grip. Interestingly enough, the honey badger acts swiftly, precisely because it understands that the snake is highly venomous. The cobra manages to bite the honey badger and administer a massive dose of toxin. It fights for survival, so it doesn't hold back on venom, but in vain. The honey badger bites the reptile at the base of the skull. Only after that does the venom start to take effect. The honey badger loses balance, staggers, falls, and freezes. But it's alive, just sleeping. The snake's venom, which causes seizures in a lion and stops lung function within a couple of minutes, merely puts the honey badger to sleep for an hour or even less. Then the creature wakes up and continues its meal. It seems its appetite has only grown stronger. So while for most other snake hunters the main task is to evade the bite and prevent the venom from entering their bodies, the honey badger's task is to bite off the snake's head before its venom makes it fall asleep. And you know what? The honey badger usually handles this task with ease. Most snakes just don't understand what a dangerous predator is before them. They don't try to hide because they think that they can scare off or, in the worst case, deal with the enemy using venom. And it becomes too late when the honey badger is within striking distance. To understand how dangerous the honey badger is, how well it resists venom, and how brutally it deals with enemies, one must experience at least one encounter with this predator. For venomous snakes, such luck is a huge rarity. The Histrix is one of the most unusual animals in Africa. It looks like a guinea pig on steroids. But what stands out most is the presence of numerous quills on its back. Typically, these quills are directed backward. Thanks to the structure, the Histrix doesn't get stuck in bushes, thickets, and dense low plants. But due to this design, the creature uses its unique defensive weapons differently. When a Histrix faces danger, it doesn't run away or attempt to overcome it with its paws. Instead, it does something almost any other animal avoids. It turns its back to the threat and approaches the predator head-on. In the case of this Histrix, this is a genuinely effective tactic. The animal can erect its fur along with the quills. Here's what happens when a snake dares to attack a Histrix. This python didn't know what it was getting itself into. It thought that it saw the prey's back a moment before it attempted to escape, so it tried to pounce on the Histrix from behind. This was a fatal mistake. The Histrix attacked the snake with its quills. Its skin is perfect for these sharp and long natural spikes. In a few seconds, the Histrix turned the mighty reptile capable of dealing with a deer into a helpless cushion for quills. The secret to the Histrix's success is that it works its quills very actively and precisely. It's not chaotic movement, but rather calculated strikes. The Histrix targets the head, unprotected parts of the opponent's body, and its eyes. But the main thing is that the quills have an unusual structure. They have serrated tips, so after penetrating the prey's body, they get stuck in it. They detach from the Histrix itself instantly and painlessly. Therefore, the quills not only pierce the enemy, but also embed in its flesh. Even a nimble leopard rarely manages to extract a quill from such a wound, To do that, opposing large fingers like ours are needed. And a snake, which lacks limbs altogether, has zero chances of getting the quills out. Wounds with quills become inflamed, infections enter them, leading to blood poisoning and a fatal end for the aggressive reptile. Besides, it hurts to crawl. So, when meeting Histrixes, it's better not to pretend to be great hunters, but to save yourselves by fleeing. There are cases where large pythons attacked Histrixes before they could use their weapons. But then the snakes bitterly regretted it. After all, reptiles lack chewing teeth. They swallow the prey whole, meaning the quills end up inside the snake, and inevitably destroy its vital organs. That's how, even after losing a battle to a snake, a Histrix can still get its revenge. This is one of the most famous scenes where snakes erred in choosing their opponent. In the coastal zone amid the sand and crevices in the rocks, a vast number of snakes inhabited the area. They blocked the path for iguanas. The lizards couldn't cope with the snakes in open combat, but their escape looks no less spectacular and cool than the most epic battles of giant predators. Just watch how quickly the lizard tries to escape the pursuers. But there are too many snakes. They surround it. When the iguana escapes from one group, it invariably runs into the jaws of another one. Snakes are everywhere. A real nightmare, isn't it? Here, a snake has bitten into an iguana, and there it has toppled another, and the third is almost buried under them. But suddenly, the last lizard emerges from the tangle of snakes. The tough skin protects it from random bites. The snakes hindered each other, giving the iguana a tiny chance, and it seized it to the fullest. The agility of the iguana is astounding. It reacts lightning fast to the appearance of new enemies and avoids encounters with their fangs with such mastery, as if this were not the most dangerous chase in its life, but just an ordinary Tuesday. So are you rooting for the lizard or wishing luck to the snakes, who also need to feed on something? Let us know in the comments section. And don't forget to tell us which case of unexpected and powerful resistance against snakes impressed you today the most. We are interested to know your opinion. Also, remember to subscribe to learn even more interesting facts about the inhabitants of the wild world.